Broadcasting from Park Avenue West, you're watching WMFD Television, Channel 68.1, Mansfield.
This program discusses sensitive mental health issues, including suicide. Viewer discretion is advised.
If we live till we're 80, I had 47 years cut short. And then you also think about, I have two boys, and like the fact that they don't get to, know their aunt and know her the way that I did.
Maybe an hour after we got the message that we lost Danny, Danny's sister said to us, we were all crying, and she says, "What do we do? What do we tell people?" And I'm like, "Baby, we got to tell them the truth. This is nothing that can be hidden, because otherwise the suicide will win."
We're not mental health professionals. It's just something that happened to our family. We direct people other places. And most important of all, I think, don't quit. Keep fighting. Keep living. Things will get better.
3, 2.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Sparking the Conversation. We're 33 Forever. I'm Donna Heck. This is my husband, Jeff, and we are especially excited to be here this evening to bring you weekly half-hour messages, and we're going to bring you stories and resources all surrounding mental health topics and the challenges people face. The show's purpose and hope is to provide both information and inspiration, making conversations about mental health the norm.
So our guest tonight is a very special one, and someone very close to us. It's Danny's brother, Josh Leedy, who is joining us tonight. And Josh has, I think, a really important story to tell from the perspective of a sibling, as a 33 Forever board member. And really, Josh, I think the audience will enjoy kind of hearing what you have to say, because I think your story is as important as anybody who has had to deal with a mental health challenge in their family, especially a suicide. So welcome to Sparking the Conversation. We're glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here. It's good to have you finally on our couch. We've talked about that for a little while. I'd like the audience to really understand yours and Danny's relationship was very special, very, obviously you're a brother, but very important in other ways and very connected. So tell the audience about that.
So Danny and I were 18 months apart, and I just remember as kids, I'd have friends over and she would be hanging out with all of us and vice versa. So she had a best friend, I had a best friend, and we always were doing stuff, whether it was playing Ninja Turtles, or she would get us to play house, or also teacher and student or whatever. So as a young age,
we were in the cornfields.
Yes. And then we would go in the creek and do all kinds of stuff together. And then, as we got older, we still talked and hung out, and she would come visit me in college. And then, then she would move to Florida, and it was still trying to, see her as much as possible. And I say the one thing that Danny did with all of our siblings was she was, I think, all of our person. So, she was my go-to that I could, if I was frustrated with another sibling, I could tell Danny. And we were just a very, very open. She was brutally honest, and was probably my biggest critic and biggest cheerleader.
Yeah,
that's true.
But yeah, we did have a special bond, as being 18 months apart and going through life together.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I've always thought, and that's broken my heart, is the siblings are said to have, their survivorship is often overlooked. Yeah. There's a book called The Forgotten Mourners, and it's all about the siblings of a suicide, brother, sister. And I remember you saying how sometimes as one of your best friends would come up to you, "Hey, Josh, how you doing? Okay, how's your mom?" And
I'll say this, in their defense, so many people care, and I think their hearts were broken that they don't know what to say or, how to handle it. And so the first thing goes back to, how are the parents feeling? How are they doing? And when you look at it, 2 years later, 2.5 years later, you think about, if we live till we're 80, I had 47 years cut short. And then you also think about, I have 2 boys, and like the fact that they don't get to, know their aunt and know her the way that I did. And like that's like one of the worst things, because I think about, one of the last conversations we had, she's like, I'll take Graham to Target and spoil him. And I'm like, no, he's got enough toys. You can do it later. Don't worry about it. And then, you hang on to that memory, and then you can't make any new memories. And that's probably one of the most difficult things.
And I think with sibling loss, as you say, we're going to miss some decades with her. You're going to miss twice that amount of time. And I think that's exactly what you said. And then the thing that points out, and your statement points out, is it's the whole family's loss and every generation's loss, from your grandfather who lost her to the the newest grandchild, our grandchild, your new niece, who will never know Danny, which again is very heartbreaking, and it's tough for the whole family.
No, I mean, we did our Christmas in July, and there's photos of all the siblings, and I think, it's Emery and Brooks who don't have any photos with Danny. So seeing those, those pillows with photos of it was like a dagger to the heart in a sense, because you're like, oh crap, like they're never going to create a moment together.
Right. I know. Yeah. It's so sad. And, we've established the bond. When we come back, we do want to talk with you a little bit more, Josh, about what the initial reaction was and how you dealt with everything. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with Sparking the Conversation.
We are more than a counseling center.
More than just a medication or therapy session.
What do I like the most? It's gotta be the team.
Providing the highest standard of care, that's just what we do.
And equipping patients with coping skills to be successful, that's so important.
It's simple. We are just hopeful. We are hopeful for our patients.
We are hopeful that we can help them find their way to a better balanced and more resilient self.
We are Hope 419.
Visit us today at hope419.com.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Savor a delicious caramel, French vanilla, or sugar-free French vanilla iced coffee, only $1.50.
Try brushing your pet's teeth. They don't like it. It's a pain. Introducing Chew Brush, the world's first self-brushing toothbrush for dogs with a toothbrush on the inside. Watch as they chew, they brush their own teeth. The Chew Brush cleans their teeth and gums in 3 ways. The nubs on the outside massage the gums. The tooth-shaped openings safely scrape away plaque and tartar, and the hidden bristles brush your pet's teeth clean while they play. The more they chew, the cleaner their teeth get. Look at this before and after. In just 5 days. Wow, what a difference. No more pain, bad breath, or expensive life-threatening treatments. Order Chew Brush today for only $14.99. We guarantee your pet will have whiter, brighter, healthier teeth and gums, or your money back. Order now and you can double it. Just pay a separate fee. That's 2 Chew Brushes. Order now.
Call 1-800-859-0537. That's 1-800-859-0537, or visit getchewbrush.com. So call 1-800-859-0537 now.
With a My Social Security account, you can request a replacement Social Security card, estimate your benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
This program discusses sensitive mental health issues, including suicide. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back to Sparking the Conversation here on WMFD. Tonight we're joined by Josh Leedy, Danny Leedy's brother. And Josh is telling us his story and his perspective as a sibling survivor of suicide. So, Josh, when we were talking, you were talking about your history with Danny and kind of what it's made you think of in the aftermath of losing her. But let's talk really about the aftermath. I know very tough time for our whole family. I know for you and your immediate family, your kids and your wife. But tell us about your immediate aftermath.
I mean, so the immediate aftermath was you just wanted to feel something, and you were just completely numb. It was literally like someone grabbed your heart out, and it was just an emptiness that I don't want anyone to ever feel, and that was the biggest reason why we started 33 Forever. And then you think, okay, now what does life look like without Danny? And you start thinking about all those things. And so with Danny, like with, you guys shared on your last episode of her story, but she was so successful, she was so impactful. And it was like her and I would talk about, like, you have this amazing story. How do we get it out there? Like, she was doing stuff in the music industry and podcasting, and it was like, let's get your story out there. And she's like, no one's going to want to listen to my story. And then she starts thinking about it, and it's like, oh crap, like, I do have a pretty good story, and I'd be more comfortable telling it to people who don't know me. Mm-hmm. And so you think about her and her legacy. So for me, it was like, okay, how do I take her her good qualities and turn it into my life? So one thing she did, and I talked about it with her siblings, but she would listen. So it's like, how can I listen better? And something I still work on. But
don't we all?
But with her, it was like, how do I take her legacy and be more successful myself? So it gave me maybe more of a drive to be successful, and successful completely changed for me. So successful before was probably money and different things. So now success is like, how can you change someone's perspective? How can you impact someone's life? Is it a smile? Is it a hug? Success is now on a different scale than it was before.
Well, Danny's art was always making whomever she was talking to feel important. And like you said, I think everybody thought, jokingly, I was her favorite. No, I was her favorite. Everybody went that way because she had that gift.
She had a way of connecting with people, and like I said, making them feel like they were the most important person in the room.
But she'd also tell you when she thought something was exactly right. You said it before in the last segment about she was brutally honest, but that brutal honesty didn't hurt so much as it just, sometimes it was a good wake-up call that probably all of us who loved her and lived with her needed from time to time.
No, she kicked you in the rear.
She did sometimes.
Well, I like how you even shared that, because so many people, the feelings, reading all about it, the feelings after the loss of a suicide are guilt, abandonment, anger. You're unable to express your grief. You're trying to help your parents deal with it, your kids, and a lot of times you're just left in the lurch, and negative behavior, negative thought processes could happen. And you totally flipped it to positive changes in your life.
I mean, I did, and then there's also a part of me where it was like I engulfed myself in work, because it was like, okay, well, I can make an impact here, or I can do things differently. But then when the world stopped with COVID, it was like, uh-oh, you put a lot of stuff on the back burner that you didn't really focus on when everything happened. And it was like, now these feelings come into fruition, or coming to full steam ahead. And it's like, how do I deal with this? Because I wasn't doing anything anymore. I was sitting.
And how did you deal with it in a nutshell?
I mean, it was just try to make positive impacts in people's lives. And I think that's what it always goes back to with me, is like, how can you make a positive impact in someone's life?
Someone's really their day to day. And you said it yourself, a smile, a hug, just a kind word. When, sometimes in our world right now, there's not a lot of kindness just shown to each other in so many ways. And I think probably from your perspective, I know from both of our perspectives, we've seen the need to provide that helping hand and just that moment of caring and that love, to provide that to somebody else, and that makes you feel better, makes you help you get through.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I think like there's not a lot of positive places to go and get good vibes. I mean, 6 feet apart and like giving someone a hug or a handshake is like, can you touch this person? Can you give them a hug? I mean, right now, maybe not. So, but you can give them a smile and take the mask down and take a smile.
Well, we're going to take another break. We need to take another break, and we're going to come back in just a minute and hear some more from Danny's brother, Josh Leedy, here on Sparking the Conversation. 33 Forever was founded by the family and friends of Danielle Leedy.
Our amazing daughter, who was a vibrant, strong, professional young woman, lost a long battle to chronic depression in February of 2019.
33 Forever was created to both honor Danny's life, as well as her longtime passion to raise awareness and empower those struggling with depression, anxiety, self-worth, and suicidal thoughts.
Visit our website to learn more. We are 33 Forever.
Hi, I'm Joe Trollian, the Executive Director for the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. Addiction to drugs and alcohol create a personal struggle as well as impact those around you. You are not alone. We have many professionals and organizations who care. Reach out for help today. Know it before you need it. Visit Know It, the letter B, the number 4, the letter U, needit.com.
Brought to you by the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board, growing and preserving a legacy of hope and success within our community.
Are you getting the most out of your Medicare plan? Are you sure? Many people with Medicare are eligible for plans that include extra benefits in addition to those found in original Medicare. Benefits like dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free with no obligation to enroll. In addition to hospital and medical coverage, at no extra cost, you could also get coverage for prescription drugs, dental, hearing, vision, and more. In many areas, plans with benefits are available with $0 copays for many services, $0 monthly premiums, or $0 deductibles. That's hospital, medical, prescription drug, dental coverage, and more included in one plan with premiums that may be as low as $0 a month. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free and there's no obligation to enroll.
Call 1-800-914-0863. That's 1-800-914-0863.
Welcome back to Sparking the Conversation. We are here with our son, Josh Leedy, who is Danny's brother. Now, for those that don't know, Danny is the inspiration behind 33 Forever, which is how this whole show started. Josh is a sibling. He's 18 months apart from her, and he had a tremendous loss, like all siblings do, that we're just discussing. And I've talked about some facts before, but Josh, lingering grief in a sibling, it often leads to mental health issues, depression, post-traumatic stress. Did you personally feel any of that? And if you did, how did you deal with it?
So I'd say maybe post-traumatic stress from the first time we were all together as a family. I remember being in the pool with, I think it was Graham, and we got so many nieces and nephews, but
a couple of them in the water.
It might have been Copley and Aria, but it all of a sudden hit me that crap, Danny's never gonna have a moment like this. And so then all of a sudden I get this like tight pain in my chest, and I was like, I get out of the pool and I think I might be having a heart attack, and I go back to the house and I started Googling and realized I had a panic attack right then and there. And so, I mean, it came out of nowhere, and, I haven't had any sense, but it just, being around family and you're creating those memories, and with us all living in different places, you value those memories, and then you're like, that big piece that's missing is now not there, that you can't create a memory with. And it just hit me all of a sudden there.
I think one of the interesting things, and I think this is another statistic that we saw, and I can't remember exactly the citation of it, but I think it said that yearly about 25,000 people in the United States suffer sibling loss. Yep. So it's a big issue. So typically, like with us, we lost Danny. Yeah. Well, there were 5 of you who had that sibling loss, so it's many more than even the suicide numbers, and a lot of times, unfortunately, it can lead to suicidal ideation in family members and all kinds of things. So one thing I think is really important, and I many people find different ways to overcome and to go on. And you found something that kind of, you told me, saved you from a mental health perspective in that first year.
I mean, so I drive a lot for work. I'm on the road, and it's a lot of me time if I'm not talking on the phone or whatever. So there's a lot of thoughts that go in your head, and it was like, how do you silence those thoughts or whatever? And a friend, 6 months before that, got me to join the local country club, and I started playing golf a lot more. And it was a time where people knew what would happen, but they didn't know me, and but they would say, oh, did something happen? And like, they would bring it up, but it was still like, whether it was 9 holes or 18 holes, it was like, I'm competitive, so like, I'm still trying to play the best golf I can or try to beat whoever I'm playing against, and it just gave me an outlet of where I wasn't thinking and so in my thoughts, or
you were focused on
I was focused on trying to hit a golf ball.
Yeah. Well, and you talked about the car. One thing you have done for years, and I'm sure you increased it, is listen to positive podcasts.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I will say this. First, it was like I couldn't listen to that. It was all, I listened to music because there was a girl I worked with, and she told me that music was one of the things that brought her, she lost her brother, and it was something that, like, music brought her, like, her brother was still there listening to the music, and Danny loved music, and Danny also loved how I could never remember lyrics to songs, so I would mumble through them, and she's like, that's not, what they said, and I was like,
and she knew every lyric to every song.
She did. Yeah, she did. So music was that, and then it was reading, it was educating myself, and there is a gentleman who I've really enjoyed. His name's Jordan Peterson. You can find him on YouTube, and he's a psychiatrist, and he just talks about, mental health and suicide and how they deal with it, and giving, I think, hope. And
does that hope?
I think it's just him laying it out, like, for if you're dealing with mental health, and saying, like, there's always hope. There's always what will tomorrow bring. And, I think maybe we've all tried to educate ourselves with TED Talks or whatever. And there's a gentleman who worked on the Golden Gate Bridge, and he says the 1 or 2% of people who jump off the bridge who live, as soon as they let go, they instantly regret it.
Yeah.
So you got to get through that moment. And I think, your point is that there are resources out there, like podcasts for you, which is what helped you, like music, like other things. There are elements of hope out there, and I think that's a great message maybe to leave our audience with tonight, Josh. But we thanks for being with us and telling your story.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll have you back maybe with another SIB and talk about 33.
Right. So we're going to be back in a minute with the memory moment here on 33 Forever, sparking the conversation, and we're going to have Josh with us for that too. We'll be right back.
I'm sorry that I didn't know what to look for, Pops.
It's not a cry for attention.
If only he had accepted help.
If he only knew how many lives he had touched.
How much we would miss him.
How much her friends and family loved her.
The hard work you put in now will pay off.
You don't really know what you're going to be in the future. You could be the next doctor, the next psychiatrist that helps those children understand their mental health issues.
Catalyst Life Services, a comprehensive behavioral health organization, has been serving the community for 70 years. Our wide array of wraparound services and our ability to treat the whole person is what sets us apart. It's everything you need in one place: mental health, crisis, detox and addiction services, case management, and peer recovery support. We even offer vocational programming to get you back to work. Catalyst Life Services. Call today and get the help you need.
Introducing Stretch and Fresh Containers, the amazing food storage containers with stretch and fit lids that let you store more. Even the odd-shaped foods you couldn't put in containers before. Just stretch over the food and snap lock the lid to keep food fresh. That's it. It comes in the sizes you need to store all the foods you want with amazing storage capacity. And the containers nest for compact, stacked, space-saving storage. And right now, we'll double the offer and send a second set. Just pay a separate fee. Call now.
Welcome back to Sparking the Conversation. This is the part of our program we call the Memory Moment. And tonight's memory moment is all about sports.
All about sports.
Well, specifically football.
Exactly.
Right.
And Josh, I know you were involved in sports with Danny as a little kid, playing soccer. What other memories do you have of her with sports?
I mean, obviously her swimming all the time in the winter.
Absolutely.
Her being double jointed and not being able to run. And that's why she loved the water.
Yes.
But I kind of want to ask you guys the question, when did her love for football come? Because obviously I was playing soccer all the time.
Yep.
And I do not remember when she started her love for football.
You know, when she was a senior in high school,
I think that was what it was.
Yeah, they used to have Monday Night Football with a group of guys. She was the only girl that would go over there, and they would watch every Monday Night Football. And I didn't trust her, but she
so is
just
that your
went.
house?
No, it wasn't. But yeah, it was really good.
Well, it really carried on from there. So she became, when she moved to Florida, she became a huge Miami Dolphins fan, and this was actually Danny's hat. And you'll see some pictures on the screen that are of Danny in games, and you can see her nephew, Josh's little boy, who's not that little anymore, in a Dolphins jersey. She was trying to convert him, and then she was also a Buckeyes fan because she didn't have any choice in our family.
Well, I think in the picture that's showing, she had to call me because she couldn't get a hold of you guys to find you in B-Deck.
Oh, absolutely.
That's right. That's funny. We were up in the stands and they couldn't find us.
And this is the best one. No, Danny did not drop water all over her shirt. This was in 2011.
The hottest day in
fall.
history.
Yep, and Jeff dotted the I for the third time, this time as an alum, and that's one of the moments from that. So.
Yeah. Pretty cool moment. So football season, the beginning of football season really for us is a really good memory, for me anyway, about Danny.
Yeah.
And she even converted me a little bit. I kind of hope the Dolphins win, even though I was never a Dolphins fan before, but she kind of converted me.
Exactly.
Well, she got to experience football at the highest level with going to the Super Bowl.
She did.
You're right.
And sitting in Jerry Jones's suite at Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah, she did. You're right.
And she brought me home a program.
Yeah, I got a mug. So yeah, exactly right. So, and she had season tickets to the Dolphins when she was there, and they were good seats. So she got up close and personal and really, really enjoyed her football. So
she did.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah, a lot of memories. Danny's always up front and center with everything.
Yep.
Of course, she would sit in the best place at a Super Bowl game.
Yeah, of course she would.
So. But anyhow, this is our memory, and we are just so grateful to be able to share that with you. We appreciate you watching our show, and we look forward to another week next Monday evening on Sparking the Conversation on WMFD.